Hi there, Fix That Car here. So, like me, you want to update the radio in your car. This is a very basic thing. It's got a CD player and FM radio, not much more. There's an associated little screen there, shows the time, outside temperature, and what the radio is up to. At the moment it's playing a CD. I just hear that in the background there. If I'm to take this unit out, I will lose two components on this display. I'll keep the time and the temperature, although I'll have to start manually setting the time, but I'll lose the information bar below that. So why would I want to do this, and what would I like to replace this with? And there is the question. I, for a long time, really wanted a screen in my car. So when I bought my other car, my daily drive, I made sure it had a screen in it. I really wanted one of these screens, and this is what I've got. It's got radio, a DAB radio. It's got a whole range of different things here. The navigation is nice. I can select different sources, one of those being Bluetooth, which pairs through to my phone, so I can either play internet radio through my phone or answer phone calls through the radio in the car. It's all very nice. It's convenient, and that's about as much as I use this for. So do I want to fit the same in the car I've just shown you? Do I want it to start behaving just like this? And thinking about it, I don't really. I don't want to spend £200 to £400 to put a unit like this in. There are cheaper units available. They won't work in the same way. The navigation will be either taken off the phone or really quite inferior to this sort of navigation, and I probably won't use half the features on them. So what am I going to do? Well, my chosen solution is to fit a radio I took out of a car some years ago. It's quite a nice radio, Sony radio. This is the face of it, and it will do much the same as this radio here, but there's one critical difference. It's got an auxiliary input. Here I've got an audio to audio cable, which will enable me to plug in there and plug the other end into my phone and play my much loved Encore radio. For navigation, I'm going to stick to a TomTom unit that sticks on the windscreen. So for me, this solution should give me much the same functionality as I'm getting in the much more modern car that I've shown you just now. This is a double DIN unit, and I've been on eBay and I've purchased this surround for single DIN for £5. So I should be able to get this radio out, get the box that sits behind this in there, plugged up and working. These are all the things that you'll need to replace the head unit in a car. Thought you were just putting that in? It's not that simple. There's quite a bit of wiring involved. So what have I got here? I've got the pinout for the old unit. That shows me what the connections are on the back of the unit I'm about to take out. I've got a pinout for the new unit explaining what different wires do. I've got an extraction tool to remove the old unit. It's a double DIN unit I'm taking out, so I've got a fascia plate that I'm going to use there to put this single DIN unit in with. This is my auxiliary to auxiliary cable, which is what this job is all about, so that I can play my favoured internet radio stations on this unit. This is the wiring that came with the radio, and this is a specific wiring adapter for the car, which will plug into the wiring from the radio. So, why so many wires? And it's the wires that matter, because if you look at this, we've got an aerial unit adapter which will plug into the car. That will plug into the radio, but on this particular car the aerial has a power supply because it's got an amplifier on it, and that's what this blue wire does here. Also, just to make things complicated, we do have one power wire to the radio that's on all the time, but there are two other power wires, and these are the red and orange cables here. One is for ignition live and one is for illumination. The illumination is the intensity of the display while the dashboard lights are on, and the auxiliary wire is to turn the radio on and off as the ignition is turned on and off. So I'm going to have to find an illumination source, an ignition live source, and I should find through this connector that I have a permanent live all the time anyhow. it's not just a straightforward replacement, because the old unit I'm taking out uses the CAN bus. It has just one 12-volt plus supply, then it's got CAN H and CAN L there, which are the CAN bus. It reads the CAN bus, and it can tell from the CAN bus whether the ignition switch is on or whether the headlights are on, and that's how it works those things out. A replacement unit will never do that, and that's why I need these extra wires. Inside the car, I think I found my ignition live and my elimination live. I've got a auxiliary socket here which comes on with the ignition switch, so that's my ignition live, and this little panel here eliminates when the headlights are on, so I think this is my elimination source. So I'll be looking for wires behind those two areas for those two leads I showed you. I'm going to remove this radio, the old radio, and I'm also going to remove the glove box here, just to give myself access to wiring behind. So let's see how I get on with removing this old radio. So in with the tools. See how well this works. And the trick is just to prise outwards slightly. Oh! And out comes the old radio. On the back here, I've got an aerial connection. Whoops, turned it on. And a wiring connector. So, with that. And the block of the adapter that I have should plug onto that. And the connection I have for the aerial should plug onto that. Next stage is to work out how I'm going to fit the single DIN mounting into this metal bracket. I've taken the double DIN cage out of the car and adapted it to fit the single DIN unit that I'm putting in. What I've done is I've put a bit of wood at the back there, screwed it either side, and I've just bent these little bits here slightly inwards to stop the radio at its stop point, so it'll slide in over the wood, and those little protrusions on the face of the radio will hold it in the right place. I'll then be able to place the new surround on top, my little bit there, plug all the things in and put it together. For the wiring, I've intercepted the main loom behind the glove box, and I found an ignition live, which happens to be black on this car, and I found an elimination wire from the body control unit, which is grey and black, or slate and black to be accurate. So I've soldered the wires to my new connector onto those and taped up for insulation. To put the wiring loom back together, I've used cable ties and 4 pieces of tape. Now the reason I've not wrapped the whole wiring loom in tape is once you do that, you'll seal the wiring loom in, and you'll seal any moisture into the wiring loom that may work its way down the wiring loom. You can easily get a small amount of water coming along a wire, and capillary action will carry it into the loom where it'll stay, and it will stay there for a good long time and could cause some serious problems with wiring faults in the car. So never tape up entirely, always leave room for a loom to dry and air itself. Wow, what a lot of wires. Before pushing things together, clipping things in place, just plug everything in and test.
Of infections that occurred
before
these measures kicked in, and
I can now proceed by putting the cage back in, putting all these bits and pieces in, and making it look neat and tidy. So here we are with a finished product. Glove box back in place, and here's the single DIN radio with an extra little cubby hole below. Doesn't it look neat? Let's try it out to see if it works. So I'll plug my phone in, turn on to auxiliary, and wow, I've got my favourite internet radio station working. Can pop my phone in there and listen to internet radio on the move. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.